What if I told you that you're just one thought away from the life you've always wanted? Not one job offer, not one connection, not even one lucky break. Just one decision, one identity shift, one inner evolution. You've been taught to chase success, to grind harder, to push more. But here's the truth. Success is not something you chase. It's something you attract. And attraction isn't about charm. It's about alignment. It's about becoming the kind of person who magnetizes wealth, opportunity, and respect without begging for it. Stop trying to do more. Start becoming more. Because the life you want isn't hiding from you. It's waiting for you to become the version of yourself who can receive it. Look around. Everyone's running, hustling, grinding. But if speed was the secret, every exhausted man would be a millionaire. The truth? Most are sprinting in circles, chasing things they haven't even become worthy of receiving. And that's the real trap. We confuse activity with progress. We scroll past success quotes, binge productivity hacks, and tell ourselves, I'm doing the work. But deep down, we know the truth. We're not becoming a man who naturally attracts success. We're begging for crumbs instead of building the table. That desperate chase? It's fear in disguise. Fear that we're not enough. Fear that we'll be left behind. But here's the wake-up call. The more you chase, the more success runs. Because success isn't desperate. It's selective. It flows to those who are aligned, not anxious. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes. They try to have before they become. They want the house without becoming the man who could build it. They want respect before they've earned self-respect. They want millions while still thinking like someone who fears Mondays. But Napoleon Hill said it clearly. You become what you think about all day long. That's not poetry, that's physics. Your mind is a transmitter and a receiver. What you dwell on, you invite. What you embody, you attract. So when your identity is built on lack, even abundance becomes invisible. You see, the world doesn't give you what you want. It mirrors who you are. And that's the shift. Stop asking, how do I get more? And start asking, who must I become to naturally live that life? Until that changes, nothing else will. You don't need more strategies. You need a new identity. Success doesn't respond to hustle. It responds to gravity. And gravity comes from who you are. Naval Ravikant once said, become so rare they can't ignore you. That's not about talent. That's about alignment. You must become a man whose habits reflect discipline, whose thoughts echo belief, and whose presence demands respect, even in silence. This is about magnetic identity, the version of you that doesn't just desire success, but expects it, not out of arrogance, but out of internal congruence. When your thoughts, your actions, and your vision are all saying the same thing, you become magnetic. You walk into a room, and energy shifts. People feel it. Opportunities feel it. Money feels it. Not because you're chasing, but because you become a source. The source. Waking up at 5 a.m. won't make you rich. Cold showers won't unlock abundance. Millionaires aren't built by routines. They're built by codes. Internal codes. Beliefs. Standards. Mental rituals that shape reality before the world even notices. The truth is, it's not about what time you wake up. It's about what you wake up for. Do you rise with purpose or with pressure? A man aligned with his vision doesn't need an alarm clock. His mission pulls him out of bed. While others are checking notifications, he's checking his mindset. While others seek validation, he's refining his values. This is a routine of a millionaire. Obsess over identity. Protect your attention. Move with intention. Because time management is not the key. Energy alignment is. And the man who aligns his energy becomes unstoppable even in silence. Before anything great exists in the world, it must exist in the mind. That's not theory. That's law. Napoleon Hill called it faith through autosuggestion. You must see it, feel it, live it internally, long before the world reflects it back to you. The average man waits for evidence to believe. But the man who attracts success, he believes before there's proof. He moves as if it's already done. That's not delusion. That's creation. Edison saw the light bulb in his mind thousands of times before the world ever saw it glow. Ford envisioned affordable cars before a single engine turned. You You must visualize the life you want with such emotional intensity that the world has no choice but to align. Don't wait to believe. Believe, and the world will wait for you. Your environment is either feeding your future or starving it. There is no neutral ground. Every voice you hear, every room you enter, every conversation you entertain, it's all shaping your identity. And if your surroundings are built on fear, doubt, and distraction, your internal magnet becomes weak. Success requires a strong field, a magnetic field. That means eliminating noise, curating influence, and guarding your focus like it's sacred. Because it is. Naval Ravikant once said, escape competition through authenticity. But authenticity dies in toxic environments. So create your own force field. Surround yourself with energy that expects more from you. Books that stretch you. People that challenge you. Spaces that elevate you. Wealth doesn't grow in chaos. It grows in clarity. Build that space. Protect that frequency. And success will have no choice but to come find you. You will not attract what you kind of want. You will attract what you're obsessed with. Napoleon Hill said it best. There is one quality which one must possess to win: definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it. Success doesn't respond to maybe. It responds to men who've decided, men who've burned the ships, men who persist long after motivation fades. Edison didn't invent the light bulb because he was the smartest. He did it because he refused to quit. Thousands of failed attempts. But his mind, unshakable. Why? Because the image of the outcome was more real to him than the failures in front of him. That's faith. That's persistence. That's the power of a burning desire. It makes you immune to the noise and magnetic to the dream. Henry Ford was once sued for being ignorant. They tried to humiliate him in court, asking questions he couldn't answer. Historical facts, academic trivia. He smiled and said, "Why should I clutter my mind with useless facts when I have a row of buttons on my desk I can press to summon men who can answer any question I need?" That wasn't arrogance. That was focus. That was power. Ford wasn't successful because he knew everything. He was successful because he knew himself. He knew what he wanted. He believed in his vision when the world called it madness. And he proved a truth few dare to live. You don't need all the answers. You need belief, faith, vision, the inner audacity to bet on yourself when no one else will. That's the mind that attracts destiny. You cannot speak failure and expect to live success. Words aren't just noise, they're signals to the world, to your subconscious, to your future. Every time you say, "I'm broke, I can't, I'm just not that type of person," you're sending commands to your reality, and reality obeys. The world becomes what your words instruct it to become. Napoleon Hill called it autosuggestion, the process of planting ideas so deep into your subconscious that they become identity. So stop using language that weakens your magnet. Replace "I hope" with "I am." Replace "someday" with "now." Replace doubt with declaration. Because the words you speak are building the walls of your future, brick by brick. Speak like the man you're becoming. Talk like wealth is already yours. And soon it will be. Real power doesn't need to announce itself. Lions don't roar when they hunt. They move in silence. And the men who attract the highest levels of success, they don't broadcast every move. They build in silence. They fall in private. They rise without applause. Because validation is a drug, and the moment you need it, you lose your edge. Resilience isn't about noise. It's about inner grit. It's about pushing through the storm when no one is watching, when no one is cheering. Napoleon Hill wrote that patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success. And part of that persistence is knowing when to speak and when to let results do the talking. So while the world brags, you build. While others seek likes, you seek legacy. Because silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. It's the weapon of the focused. Every choice you make is a vote, not for a political party, but for the kind of man you're becoming. Hit snooze? That's a vote for comfort. Rise early and execute? That's a vote for discipline. Stay silent in the meeting? A vote for fear. Speak up with clarity? A vote for leadership. Success isn't one big moment. It's thousands of invisible moments stacking up, forming the architecture of who you are. And here's the twist. Your identity isn't fixed. It's fluid, moldable, but only if you cast the right votes. Every action you take is either strengthening or weakening your internal magnet. So ask yourself daily, who am I voting for with this choice? The man I've been or the man I'm becoming? Because over time, your habits write your destiny. In ink you can't erase. Here's the truth most never hear. You're not chasing success. You're returning to it. You were born with power. You were born with clarity. But then came the noise, the doubt, the world's version of who you should be. And you forgot. You forgot that wealth is not found. It's remembered. That confidence isn't built. It's revealed. Success isn't some distant peak to climb. It's a reflection waiting for you to align with it. The moment you stop chasing and start becoming, everything shifts. Opportunities recognize you. People treat you differently, not because they've changed, but because you did. You became the man success was always looking for. You spoke the language. You matched the frequency. And suddenly, the door that was always locked swings wide open because you didn't beg. You didn't force. You aligned. And in that alignment, you returned to your truth. So now it's time, not to plan, not to hope, to decide. Right here, right now, who are you? Not what you do, not what you've been through, but who you choose to be. Because every man reaches this moment, the line in the sand, the silence before the storm. And in that moment, there's only one truth that matters. Success is not luck. It's a decision. It's a declaration that says, I no longer chase. I attract. I no longer shrink. I rise. I no longer wish. I act. So write it down. Speak it aloud. Burn it into your identity. You are the man who attracts wealth. You are the magnet, not the seeker. You are the answer, not the question. Decide now. Align fully. And let the world feel the shift. Because your time is not someday. Your time is now.